it's probably best to be patient, or do you have any help or support for the emotional exercise?
At some point I said, in addition to this whole erotic area, take in the feeling you get when you carry out a freely chosen act that you really enjoy. And for one person that could be knitting, for another it could be gardening, so what you choose because it makes you feel free and happy. And for me and this is completely normal, you are not alone. Some say, Sabine, what kind of image do you have of the culture? But I actually taught live basic courses for 10 years. And it was almost always that only very few in the group knew what they would choose. And of course that worked within me until I summarized it for myself. The people work brilliantly. So they basically obey every command and fulfill every wish of people who are important to them. But to this day they no longer know, perhaps as children, what they actually want themselves. This is like a student saying, what should we do next? Instead, have you ever thought about what kind of topic you would be interested in or something like that? So you are, so to speak, but that only applies to the lower and middle classes. You are not asked, what fulfills you as an action? And that's why many academic people are drawn to reading, to feeling, and of course fantasy delirium returns. So films and parallel worlds, but that is retreat, that is escape. So and creativity isn't painting and stuff like that, or especially not painting by numbers, it's creative power. That you make the world different in the area that brings you joy than it might have been stressful, or what the X generation couldn't achieve. Just don't change the whole world, but you are. We are Nietzsche specimens ourselves. But in your niche, make it comfortable, and some will run away and others will help. So that's where it goes. It's really a drama with the will. We are broken figures. And that means GDR competitive sports, that means that as a small school child you watch BSG Dynamo 4 times a week. So really, a coach who then yells at you while you swim here until you are gassed. So it was still such a piece of crap. It's not about you, it's about you. You're such a farm animal and you have a time to spare. It doesn't matter if you choked or can't do it anymore or can't get up the stairs at home afterwards or something like that. Because getting a professorship wasn't a gift. So I thought I'd be strong-willed and then I'd do this stupid exercise and come to the conclusion instead of, you're stupid, you can't do it. To put it neutrally, the exercise simply doesn't take place. And then I thought, I'm still strong-willed, I'm determined. No! So even the professorship thing, you could still say that my mother wanted a model child. She didn't talk to me at home and wanted me to be intelligent at some point and not invest anything, so to speak, but show off. So these are their values with the intellect. I once tried to get my high school diploma and said that in the GDR, if you look closely, it's actually the most practical thing. If I become a carpenter, for example, then I'll collect Western money, and that makes me a free citizen. I don't waste time studying. I still find the idea intelligent to this day. So one is from perception, and the other is like adults that I want. But you can have the best of everything. So you understand the drama?
Totally, yes.
Of course, there is freedom in thinking, but freedom is actually just freedom of choice. Freedom in action. As long as you think about freedom, but can't make the decision yourself. What do I do next? What do I want to do now? Even in relationships, one person makes you feel guilty, or the other person says, if you go away tonight, I'll panic. This is highly manipulative. But a partnership that the other person says, I'm sad. But if that's important to you, I have to try somehow. You might have another tip in the evening, or I wish you a nice evening, instead of I hate you if you're leaving me tonight. So freedom is a very rare commodity. Very few people have realized that they actually have no free will. And so in the beginning, or all the basic seminars that I gave, people started to hate the exercise. And then I said, in doing so, you are shattering the mirror of your lack of freedom. That's not the practice. She wants to lead you to freedom. Then I said, well then, remember an action that you enjoy doing as a child. For example, maybe sitting on the swing. And then they had to think again. Do you understand the drama of this performance layer in particular? You are the taxpayers who keep the whole thing going. You have a 40-hour week. On top of that, you should also lead children through life as successfully as possible. And of course, have a non-violent, deeply relaxed partnership. And if that doesn't work, of course it's your fault. This is an absurdity. There's no realism in it. That's torture. And because the bottom line is yes, people who were not free for life. When I suggested silt, wow, I have a lot of material here on the subject of longevity. Because according to my research, you could easily be in perfect health for 120 years. Because again, the participants. But Sabine, I don't want to grow old. I'll be happy when it's over here too. You are caged animals. Gurdjieff and all those teachers of the 20th century made that clear to you. And why the Jesuit order should be taken seriously is that every now and then, when I gave lectures on the 3 basic exercises in churches back then, Jesuits were there. And they said, I don't understand why the Protestant participants are discussing this exercise so much. That is the basis for first training the will. Yes, of course this is an order that changes the world. And then I told myself that the exercise that was hardest for me would be the breakthrough in my personal development. Before, I always saw things and said that of course someone had to write essays with some kind of social utopia in certain areas. And now I'm apparently a non-intellectual idiot who gives seminars. I act, and because I act, just because I act, I may be dangerous in some way. As long as I write texts, I'm a harmless monkey, because everyone can write texts. But a Steiner like that also changed the school landscape because he took action. And of course wants to move people through his lectures, although I don't want to say that you should all become anthroposophical, but so that you can see you are being broken in exactly the area that is the essential one, changing the earth. And then you're such a depressed slacker. Yes, it has never worked. Or, well, I don't think so. It will definitely work for others. And above all, you complain and complain. No, I was too. So, the stupidest actions, no matter how wrong they are, will move you forward because you learn from them, if you avoid the mistake of perfectionism. So go for it, no matter how wrong it is, towards those who don't act. Are you already a genius? And my mysticism is therefore incarnational, really aimed at the body and shaping the physical world. But please not by signing petitions and such, but by doing exactly what is important to you in your area of life, because you won't make anything worse for yourself, but rather improve it. And others will be grateful to you. They will then ask, how did you manage that? I thought that wouldn't work. Well, I've now done this in more detail because this has always been an absolute basic theme from the beginning. At the beginning, I said to myself that I couldn't give basic seminars yet. The exercise of the will is so bad for me. And when was it particularly bad? On seminar days. And then I just looked, why is that? Because my attention goes almost entirely to the others. And I lose touch with myself. That made me overdrawn and stuff like that. Well, that was also bad when I lost touch with myself. And of course I just wanted the others to be happy. But that made her unhappy because it's no longer a relationship. It's a symbiosis.